Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. This video is slightly different just because I'm mostly working on the shop update, so almost the entirety of the video is just looking at my desk. I wanted to try and break it up with some talking, so I'm going to talk a bit now and then maybe talk a bit again at the end, just because otherwise I run out of music to put on everything and it's just a lot. Firstly, I want to get the practical information out of the way. So I will be updating the shop this week with the ghost cards and also the free 50k ghost that people requested. That's what I'm working on now, but I'll talk about it more in a minute. I will also have some new sticker sheets and what else? I'll have the digital copy of Existing Autistic. That might be all today, but I will keep working on extra digital stuff in the background. It's just all taken me a lot longer than I thought it would, as is so often the case with everything. For UK people who are waiting to buy physical products, I'll restock that stuff next week, if that's okay. So not this week, but the following week, just so I have a bit more time to get myself organised. I'll make the same new sticker sheets available for that, and I'll also restock the ghost cards, but it will just take a little bit longer. I do have plans to make the last issue of Mundane digital, but I haven't done it yet. I'm also going to make some of my older sticker sheets, like the Sherlock one and the Autistic one, I think people requested digital as well. But again, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. You'll see why later, but it's just all taking me quite a long time. But yeah, I think that's the practical stuff, is that the shop update is happening. It just doesn't have everything yet. But I guess the nice thing about things being digital means that there's no rush for anyone. Like, you guys can take your time if you're waiting to get paid or you're saving, and I can just keep updating as I go, and no one has to worry about anything selling out or disappearing. So I'm hoping it's going to work out well. So today for me is actually Friday. I'm filming or recording all of the audio kind of in one sitting because I wasn't sure how the week was going to work out video-wise. But in this segment, I'm working on the 50k like celebratory ghost card, the 50k gloomy. This is something a few people requested, and I thought that it would be a nice thing to do, I guess. Like, I agree, I think it would be cool. So I thought I would put that together for this update. It'll be free for anyone to download. It's in my shop, but you can just check out for free, obviously, or add it onto another order. For this, I tried to include elements that would be recognizable from the videos. I kind of go back and forth a lot about the different elements and where I'm putting them, which, to be honest, is pretty typical for me when I'm working, because having aphantasia means that I don't often, I never have an image of how I want things to look. I have an idea of the different pieces I want to include in a work. Like for this one, I knew I wanted to put a pylon somewhere, and some paw prints maybe to represent Wednesday. So I knew I wanted those elements, but I didn't know where I was going to put them or have an idea of how I was going to lay stuff out. And typically what I do for all my work is just kind of get all those pieces and then try kind of like collage or jigsaw them together. That's kind of my process. It's just a lot of like copying and pasting and moving things around and duplicating things and then hiding things and then moving them and then trying again. Like, this is why in the past I've never included many segments of me drawing, because it's just so much back and forth. This segment was like 45 minutes long and I trimmed it down. But like, it takes me so long because I'm just shuffling things around endlessly until I feel like it's happy. And that's kind of just how I work, which is fine for me. Like, I like it, it's fine. I lose a lot of time by accident, but it works well for me. But it's a strange thing to try and explain to other people, I guess, because I don't go in with a plan. So much of my day and my week has a plan, but not my drawing. My drawing is just putting it together and hoping for the best, which is how most of my plans work out anyway, so there we go. At this point in drawing the ghost cards, I am just doing a lot of copying and pasting. The pylon I had drawn for a different ghost and then not used it, so I already had that. But apart from that, the ghost cards at this point, I've drawn so many. I've drawn 20-ish ghost cards, 25 maybe, I can't remember. But I've drawn so many that the main elements of how they look are done. So I do a lot of copying and pasting and pulling from the different cards to make new cards, and that's how I keep them looking like pretty uniform. Obviously I like them to be individual, but I also want them to work as a set. So they have to have like a visual consistency, and sharing elements across them all is how I do that. So for this one, it is a lot of copying and pasting. You can see me going back to all the old cards and pulling things out. At the moment it's just stickers, but I think I pulled the stripes from the trousers and stuff, and the shape of the outfit, like I just pulled from all of the other cards. So a lot of the cards share outlines, I guess, and different bits and pieces, and then I don't know, spread them all across. But I like to work like that. I think I got a DM or an anon once that was saying like, oh, you use so many like repeating elements, especially in stickers, and they were saying like it's a bit shit. And I was like, fair. But for me, I guess the recurring elements are how I navigate things. I don't know if that's just the autism talking. I feel like it probably is, but when I'm working, I like that things repeat. I like that I have specific things that I can recognize and that I can keep using. I don't know, I guess it's the familiarity and the routine. But like I do like to keep using familiar symbolism, I guess, or familiar images. Like I like to work that way. And similarly, I have had people tell me that they also like it because they recognize different bits and pieces, and it's fun for them, so it's fine. But I really enjoy working like that. If I have drawn a really good lamp before, I will just copy and paste it into a different work and use it again, because I'm like, I like that lamp, I'm gonna reuse that lamp. And I like that I have these bits that thread all of my works together. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone, but I like to work like that. I enjoy it. I guess it is just a big aphantasia and autism thing. It's like I enjoy the repetition, especially as someone who, autistically speaking, enjoys a lot of repetition anyway, not just in my routines and like food and stuff, but I like to repeat sounds, and I like hearing things repeated. Like I like listening to repeating sounds as well as repeating sounds. So I like it. So there we go. Anyway, you can see me pulling some of those circles across from different works. I often swap out the different symbols inside the circles, which I think is what I just did. But it's fun. I try to include some stuff that sort of hints at like the feeling, I guess, of the videos. I think I actually do take the lamp from the executive dysfunction card, which is funny because I used that as an example, but I forgot I actually used it. But there we go. That kind of thing. I end up adding a bat, I think, to represent some spooky stuff, a pencil obviously for the drawing and for my notebooks. I think I end up moving the stickers and changing the colours, but then when I actually finish the work, I change it all back again. So it is just a lot of back and forth. What I'll do is at the end of the video, I'll show you the finished card, because I think when I stopped filming, it doesn't actually look like how it finished. I changed the shirt to blue in a bit, and then I don't keep that. Like when I finish it properly, I change it back to the grey. I thought originally maybe the card looked too dark, but then the blue one wasn't really very representative of what I wear in the videos, so I changed it back again. But that's how I work. It's just very back and forth and trial and error. Like it's so much collaging, and I think this is a big part of why I never really have an inclination. I don't ever really plan to go back to traditional work, because the nature of how I do things doesn't really work traditionally. I had to use a lot of tracing paper back in the day. I did so much photocopying just to be able to work in like not even a similar manner, but like as close as I could get. It was a lot. I remember when I was in college, my print credit was like abysmal. It was so bad because of all the photocopying. It's a very difficult way to work traditionally. And now that I do work digitally, I have such a flow with it that I just can't imagine ever going back on purpose. Like there's nothing about traditional art that I really miss at all. Like I love how freeing digital art is. Here's the lamp. There you go. This is a lamp I own though, just not in purple, and I think that's why I drew it the first time, because it's something I recognize. Like when I go to draw something, I think, oh, I need to draw a shoe. More often than not, I'll draw a Converse because that's what I wear and what I'm familiar with. Same for the lamp. I was like, oh, I need to draw a lamp, so I drew the lamp I own. And even the shape of the glasses in that executive dysfunction card, those are the glasses we own in the house. So it's like, I'll always just go for what I recognize. And I guess that also helps my work to have such like a consistent appearance. I don't know. Yeah, so the finished card doesn't look too different from this, apart from, I think it does kind of look like that. I'll show you at the end, but this is as close as it gets, I think. And then I start changing stuff and messing it up. So we won't focus on that. What I'll do instead is tell you about some other stuff, because I finished reading Crooked Kingdom, and I didn't talk about it last week, but I finished it last week. I just forgot to talk about it. Which is probably a good thing, because last week my emotions were too fresh. This week they're still too fresh. I loved it so much. I really loved Crooked Kingdom. I had such a good time reading it. And then obviously I watched the second season of Shadow and Bone. I watched the second season before I read the books, and I think that might have been a mistake. Not because I had issues with the second season, I thought it was good. I think a lot of book fans are upset, but I thought that it was okay. I think the stuff they changed and the way they rearranged parts of the timeline could make sense if there's going to be a third season, or if there's going to be the alleged Six of Crows spin-off. I can kind of understand why they've made the changes they have, if those things might happen, but I don't want to think about that because I should have read the books after the show was renewed or cancelled. As it stands, it's been a month since season 2 aired, and there's no updates. Like, the show has not been renewed, but it also has not been cancelled. It's just radio silence on Netflix's end, which is so stressful, because now I'm so much more invested than I was before I read it. Like, now I so badly need a season 3 or a Crow spin-off so that more things can happen, so that Matthias can actually get to be a crow for the first thing. So that we can maybe see Wylan and Kaz fall through Jan Van Eyck's ceiling, and so we can get Wylan's whole backstory. When I was reading that, I was actually like, that did things to me. That hurt me in ways I can't talk about. I would really like to see Jesper and Wylan be domestic. Like, I really need domestic Wesper. And I need more of all of them. I need to see Nina maybe be happy for 5 minutes before they potentially fulfill the main plot line of Crooked Kingdom and she's not happy. But like, I just need more. Like, I shouldn't have read the books until it got renewed or cancelled, because then I could have processed either way. But instead, I read the books and I got so invested and attached, and now I have nothing. There's no information, and I'm like, oh god. Like, it's a bit stressful because I'm so invested. But all of that to say, I had a really good time reading them. 10 out of 10. I can't believe I didn't read them as a kid. I got Six of Crows for Christmas one year, and I think I read like 2 chapters, and for some reason I didn't finish it. I must have been like 17 or something. I think it was before uni. And I don't know why I didn't finish it. I think I just got distracted, which is probably what happened. But I can't believe it took me so long to find these characters. Like, I think my favourite dynamic in books is, like, feral found family. Not just found family, but when they're, like, slightly feral. Like, that's important to me. Like, I love it so much. I was reading the end of Crooked Kingdom at, like, 2 a.m, and when Wylan joked that he could push Kuwait into the canal and see if he could swim, I was in bed and I was like wheezing by myself at 2 a.m. Like, it was funny. I wish that in the show we got to see Wylan be a bit more like angry, because in the books he's quite sassy and he's quite angry. Like, this is a Wylan, we could wake them up to kill them, like Van Eyck. Like, but in the show he's kind of shy and stuff, and in the books he's a lot more feral. Yeah, I think Wylan's my favourite character. I don't know, I had to talk about it, okay? I'm so sorry to anyone who doesn't watch it, doesn't care about the books, but I had to get it off my chest because, boy, it has me feeling some type of way. Like, I have not read a book and been so invested since, like, I was reading all of the, what are they called? The court books, what's the first book called? With Rhysand and Feyre and stuff, you know? Not since I read those have I been so deeply invested in characters. Okay, we're coming up at the end of the segment. Perfect timing. So I will put on screen what the final ghost card looks like, and you can see it. It will be available for free in the shop with the update. You can just download it. If you don't want to go through the shop checkout, you can drop me an email and I'll email it to you. My email is in the description. but it might take me some time to get back to you. It might be easier to go through the shop. I will talk again on Friday. So in these segments, I am gonna start working on some more shop stuff for today. As I said, I'm filming these segments on a Friday, so this is the day I've been working on them. I worked on them all morning and a lot of last night as well. And I thought I would explain it to you so that hopefully some of my thinking makes sense and so that you know what you're getting when you order stuff. For this first bit, I am updating the ghost cards ready to sell them digitally. I have made them look a bit different to how they are when they're printed. So when I print them, they don't have a background, they just have that pale colour. But what I've done for the digital ones instead is keep them on the index card. And then I put the title and the little staple and a small watermark. It's just to try and help protect my original artwork as much as possible. I think my worst case scenario is someone stealing my work and it ending up being like mass manufactured on Shein or something. That really scares me. So what I have done is keep them on the index card just so that the background is still textured and it can't really like be, I guess, stolen in the same way. I hope that makes some kind of sense. But yeah, that's a choice I made. I think they still look cool. This is how I've been uploading them online, so I hope you like them. I hope it's not a problem. But it just makes me feel a bit safer. I think the only downside with selling digitally is the idea that you can't protect your work in the same way. People can just lift it and do what they want, and that's kind of scary. Please don't take advantage of me. Please don't misuse my work. I will include a little document in all of the digital stuff that explains like what you can and can't do with it. So for example, you can't upload it to sites like Redbubble. I don't want you to print it like that. Especially because then other people can buy it. I just don't want that. And you can't sell it, obviously. Really, what you can do is just print it at home, or you can go to your local print shop if you're printing it just for your own use. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. I need to sit down and write that tonight and think about it properly, but that's kind of the idea, is that it's all only for personal use. Like, I think that should be obvious, but just to say it out loud, that is all you can do with it. Like, you don't own the work, you own a copy of the work, that kind of thing. So I'm just trying to work out how I can protect my ghosts, especially, because they're so important to me personally. So yeah, that's how I have done it. I hope you like it. I like the index cards. I think the texture is really nice. And over the next couple of days, I guess over the weekend, I'll work on making some like phone backgrounds and stuff, because I know a lot of people asked about that. But I think the images will need editing slightly for that, because I don't think the whole image is going to fit properly. And then in this segment, I'm working on the new sticker sheets. So I have put them together like my normal A6 pages, so that I can manufacture them for UK customers. So UK people can buy those normal sheets. And then what I did for printing at home was move all of the elements onto these grids, which has been a hell of a time. This is what is slowing me down, is trying to fit, like, when you put it on an A6 sheet, you just jigsaw them together, and so long as there's room for the cut lines, it's fine. But I was trying to make these really neat sheets for printing at home so that you have enough room to cut things out. Because when I printed a test sheet at home on like Tuesday, I realised obviously that some of it was quite tight for printing at home. You could do it, but it was a bit of a faff. It was quite hard. So what I did instead was make these weird grids, and it's on an A5 page, so you can print 2 on a sheet of A4. And then I put all of the individual elements within the boxes. So then if you want to, you can cut the boxes out and use the images within squares, or you can cut around them like a die cut sticker. Like, you can trim around the edges of the shape. but at least then you have enough room to do it, and you can cut all of the different pieces out first and then trim them down when you need them. I hope that makes sense. I know some people asked me to add cut lines for like Cricut machines and stuff. I think they're called Cricut machines. I don't have one is the problem, so I'm not sure how to do that. I've never made stickers like that. I've always just sent them to a manufacturer, or I've printed them by myself at home on printer paper. So I don't know how to do that. What I will do for now is include the A6 sheet in the orders. And then I'm hoping if you have a Cricut machine or whatever it is, a portrait machine, is that a different one? Basically, if you have a silhouetting machine at home, you can add your own cut lines. I'm hoping that will work. I really don't know because I don't have one. And I'm not sure if they all work differently. Like, I'm not sure how it would work even if I knew how to do it. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I might tackle that in the future if people can give me some advice, but for now, I've no idea what I'm doing. So this is how I've done it for you, is that you can either print out the A5 sheet and you can cut things out nicely, or you can add your own cut lines to the A6 sheet and print it with a machine at home. I made these little gloomy themed sheets. I think that's kind of cute. I know some people were asking for gloomy stickers. I wasn't sure if the general consensus was that people wanted the cards as stickers or just the ghosts. But for now I've done the ghosts, and I added some more little bits and pieces. I did a couple that looked like key rings, which was really fun to design. And then I did this little stamp one, and I did some other sort of circle ones and some text and stuff. It was fun. I maybe got a bit carried away, but I hope you like it. Apart from that, this afternoon I'm gonna work on the digital ghosts. I need to upload those. I need to upload everything. I need to write the reference sheet of what you like, the rules, and then get everything prepped and finished, really. What I might do quickly now this afternoon is film a bit of me cutting out the sheet so you can see what that looks like. Just to add on to the end of the video so the ending isn't so abrupt. But I probably won't talk. Maybe I will. No, I probably won't. I hope that you guys like the stuff. I will add more stuff with time, so if you have requests, please leave them in the comments. I will keep working on things gradually. You can always drop me an email or an ask on Tumblr and stuff too if you want to request something, and then I will just keep chipping away at stuff. But hopefully this is going to be a lot more relaxed for everyone. Obviously, international shipping became an absolute worst case scenario, so I'm hoping this is going to be a lot cooler, a lot more fun, a lot less stressful for everybody. Yeah, okay. I will see you guys next week. If you have any questions about how stuff works, leave them in the comments as well. I'm happy to answer them. I'll keep an eye on the comments this week. And hopefully it's going to be cool. Oh, I also just wanted to really quickly say thank you again for 50k. I had a little cake earlier in the week. You might have seen it while I was working on the ghost card. I made like a page in my Hobonichi about it, and I stuck in the new ghost, and I had a little cupcake, and it was cute. So there you go. Some of you asked to see more Wednesday, so I included that at the beginning of the week. Some of you asked for the ghost, so I did that. And some of you told me to have cake, so I did that too. I have not bought the Dracula figurine at the moment. I'm not willing to spend the £40, but maybe one day in the future, maybe that should be the stretch goal for 100k is just like the Dracula figurine. But I really think it's only like me and 5 other people that are invested in that, so we'll see. Okay, I hope you like the shop stuff. I hope your week has gone well. I hope Shadow and Bone gets renewed. And I will see you next time. Cute. And then let's choose one to cut around the edges of. I did this earlier in the week and it worked. Maybe I'll do this one. It is fiddly. It is fiddly. But it will be less fiddly now that there's more room. gonna do the edges with a ruler. Ooh. Okay. And then in theory, you can just cut around the shape. I normally do a messy one first and then a tidy one after. I would hope if my scissors weren't so bad. Okay, not too bad. And then you can just go back in and tidy up if you want. Those spiky ones are hard. But I have never been particularly gifted with arts and crafts, so there's that. Like, I'm not really a DIY person. There we go. Not terrible, but not impressive. Maybe I should have done these with a ruler too. Neat. Okay. And then you can just keep these in the back of your book until you're ready to use them, I guess. So I did these ones earlier in the week, the Tamagotchi and this one. You can see they're the same size. I did change the colors a little, but I think they're better now. And then you can either use them as squares, oh look, see, they're cute. I can't believe it worked. And then you can use them as squares. I like it. Cool.